Okay, so let's talk about practice routines and how you can learn how to structure your own routines to get the most out of your time invested when practicing the guitar. Before we jump into today's video, I'm going to put in the description below a bunch of practice templates for people at various levels of their playing and also different genres. So make some suggestions for skill sets to focus on for anyone interested in that. If anyone's looking to take the guesswork out of learning how to put your own practice routine together, I strongly recommend checking out a free trial option I've got of the HPM Guitar Fundamentals program. It's going to teach you how to master the fundamental skill sets and techniques of contemporary guitar in content. That's going to be in the description below as well. Okay, so when we start to do up the equation of how to structure our own practice routines, first thing we need to think about is how often we're going to be able to practice. So I always recommend anyone who's serious about seeing consistent and regular improvement with their playing, that they aim for a minimum of 4 practice sessions a week. Now those practice sessions can vary in length. They don't have to be long. Even a beginner, I recommend they aim for 4. 3 is the bare minimum in my experience that I've seen of students who can still get some improvement, but you're going to get more consistent results with the 4 to 6 sessions per week. If you can only practice 2 times a week, do 2. Just do whatever you can. If you do 1, do 1. Something is going to be better than nothing at the end of the day, but ideally, if you can structure it in a way where you can get 4 sessions a week, then going with that as the bare minimum, I think, to consistently see improvement is the way to go. Next equation, or part of the equation rather, is how long do you have to practice? Now, this could be 20 minutes. This could be 45 minutes, an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours. What I've found, and there's a lot of neuroscience to actually back this up, is if you're just doing pure practice, so we're talking about developing techniques or repertoire, so in the learning phase of that, anything over 2 hours of practice, you're going to get serious diminishing returns on your time invested. But if you're, say, someone who's got 45 minutes to practice, or you've got half an hour or 15 minutes, that's fine. Identify that, but as long as you're getting regular input, you're picking your guitar up, you're practicing that, you're going to be improving your skills. Now, for the next part of the equation, we get to practice structure. And I encourage people, whenever they're developing their own practice structure, to think of it from the perspective of you're either learning or developing a technique or repertoire. I'm going to say that again. So you're either learning/understanding or developing a technique or repertoire. So it doesn't have to get any more complicated than that. So let's run with the person who can hypothetically only practice 45 minutes per session. So I would encourage that person to pick a technique that they're going to focus on in that time. And I always push people, if they've only got that amount of time, pick the technique which is going to have the biggest carryover. So the most applications in different scenarios. And I wouldn't use any more of that time than 10 minutes to work on that, but be hyper focused and using that time to develop the key parts of that technique. The rest of that time, I would encourage that person to work on repertoire development. So learning songs, because we practice guitar because we love playing guitar. We don't just practice for the sake of practicing. We want to get enjoyment out of playing the instrument. So now we've identified how often, the length, the structure of our practice sessions. Let's talk about practice process. And I like to keep things simple in this regard as well. There's a system I like called the steady and controlled repetition process, which sounds fancy, but when you boil it all down, strip it away, it's getting your repetitions focusing on accuracy and quality of what you're doing. Because the reason why we want to get as many repetitions and high quality repetitions on the exact way we want to play the technique or the piece or the song, the repertoire, whatever you want to call it, in that allotted practice time. So if you focus on making accuracy and getting quality repetitions on everything you're doing in your practice time, you're going to go way further, way faster than anyone else that's not using that technique. So don't forget to check out those routines and templates I've got in the description below for you to download and get a look at. Also, don't forget to check out the HPM Guitar Fundamentals program on that free trial if you're looking to master the fundamental skill sets of contemporary guitar. My name is Ryan Wyatt. Let me know in the comments how you go with all of this stuff, and I will talk to you soon.